Season 6 revisiting Letterkenny, huh? Already? Let's be real. You're probably sitting there just saying, it's about goddamn time, Ezret. Oh my god. Well, either way, the wait is over. We're here. We are ready. So let's just dive in, yeah? Last season left us with some pretty big things to digest in episodes 5 and 6. In episode 5, we were hinted at Stuart's transformation come season 6. While the Skids, Glenn, Gay, Katie all bear witness to the new Stuart, we don't even get a peek of what he looks like now. Judging from their faces though, it must have been good. Episode 6 of season 5 introduced us to not one, but two new relationships. The first one being Darian and Annie giving it a go after she calls off the marriage to Jean-Claude. The second being an interesting introduction of a new woman named Mary Fred. As we ended up seeing before the screen cuts to black and the credits start to roll, a fight breaks out at the bar that the Hicks and the French are in. This causes Wayne to be unable to reach Mary Fred in time to speak to her. The person that ends up comforting her in the end while the fight is happening is Jean-Claude, and we're left with a distraught Wayne to look at until the scene ends. Episode 1 kicks off with Wayne in Quebec. He's at a gas station filling up his truck while some guys are clearly glaring at him. One of the guys thought it would be a great idea to vandalize Wayne's license plate while he isn't looking. As soon as he's all done filling up his gas tank, he follows the three guys inside where he gets even. I guess I shouldn't be surprised with the amount of hostility that's being shown between the English and the French, given their previous experience with Jean-Claude when they visited for Annick's Bouquet Beach. But it's nice to be reminded that even in this new season where there's two English-French relationships going on, Wayne and Mary Fred and Darian and Annick, that this rivalry is still alive and well. Moving on to the next scene, we see that Wayne was actually in Quebec to meet up with Mary Fred. We learn that they've officially started dating and have been taking turns visiting each other.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Une autre round, s'il vous plaît, merci.
After Wayne orders another round of drinks, he retells a story to Mary Fred that he heard from Mr. McMurray. It was about a guy on his iPad while he was at a urinal. So I'll play out some of the conversation here since it's one of those bits that becomes a reoccurring and developing conversation throughout the episode.
What could be so urgent?
That's what I said. I said, what could be so urgent? But then I said, like, who is this nutsack?
Or who does this nutsack think he is?
Here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
There's only one thing that could be so urgent.
Checking in first flight?
Hard no, but still. To be at the airport, at the urinal, on your iPad with your
Dick out?
your horn, yeah.
Dick.
Won't make a habit of it.
Merci.
Like, let's get real here.
You get real.
You get real.
The dude's important. What's he putting into the iPad is what I want to know.
Little help?
Will help.
Want to know what he's putting in the iPad? I can tell you what he's putting in the iPad. Here's what he's putting in the iPad. The codes.
The codes?
Those codes.
That's the thing that could be so urgent.
That's the one thing that could be so urgent.
What a goof.
To be at the airport, at the urinal, with your iPad, your dick out.
Silly.
This nutsack is one in a chain of commanding political figures with access to the codes to greenlight a nuclear strike.
The conversation is cut short once Jean-Claude walks up to them. This is where we find out that Jean-Claude is actually Mary Fred's older brother. He then makes it clear that Jean Lance is actually his cousin, and therefore Mary Fred's cousin as well. Throughout this whole interaction, Wayne is actually being nice and also respectful. It's Jean-Claude and Jean Lance and even that damn waitress from earlier who's giving him a hard time. The three of them have now all mocked his accent, and even so, Wayne has kept his cool. So Wayne proceeds to tell Jean-Claude to go take a seat and enjoy his beer, where Jean-Claude then responds with,
"What if I don't?"
Well, then I'd have to put my beer down.
Mary Fred's reaction to Wayne's retort made me so relieved. When I first watched this go down, I was a little worried that this was going to turn out like how it did with Wayne had a run-in with Rosie's favorite cousin Bradley. But it appears Mary Fred welcomes Wayne's combative nature and somewhat even encourages him to stick up for himself, even if that person he's up against is her brother. We see that Derry's dreaming about a Nick in a bikini walking over to him while he's having a smoke on the porch. But his dream is cut short before it can really take off. When he wakes up, Dan is standing over him and says that he can see Derry rocking a semi, where Derry isn't even quick to deny it. Once Dan leaves, Anik comes up to him and says,
Good nap?
Great nap.
Nap with me?
Well, I just kind of had a nap.
Then we don't need to sleep.
Okay.
Over with Riley and Jonesy, we see them checking out some of the girls working out until Ryan and Dak shows up and begin talking about hookup tallies. They ask Riley and Jonesy if they think they could hook up with more girls than Ryan and Dak can hook up with guys, where Riley and Jonesy seem confident in their abilities.
Cool. Our total takedown tally versus your total takedown tally.
Deal. What do the winners get?
Case of beer?
Case of beer.
Love a case of beer? Deal. Case of beer.
Here's to the opening gay ceremonies, boys.
All right, boys, in for the ceremonial fuck drop.
I know a good horn section for the event. Why don't you just give a little toot? Come on, just give a little blast. I'm gonna have sex with some girls.
Moniz is back in action and we kick off his return with Mary, Fred, and Wayne. They both greet Bonnie, who has returned working there as a bartender, where Bonnie proceeds by mocking Mary Fred's accent.
She was being a bit of a cow, eh?
Vince McMurray's sister, she comes by it honestly.
She's pretty.
Well, she's a lovely girl, for the most part.
So much petty hostility between English and French.
It's a bit obnoxious, isn't it?
I'm glad we agree on that.
As long as we can also agree that French toast is a waste of time.
So are English muffins?
There you go.
After that, Mary, Fred, and Wayne resume the conversation about the guy with the iPad at the urinal who they called Gary. They dig deeper into who could have been the person to contact Gary and are still running along with the theory that he must have had the last set of nuclear codes. They end up ruling out the secretary as being the person to contact Gary about entering the codes, and that it had to have been one of the other 3 remaining government heads. But this now begs the question on if whether or not Gary was already in the bathroom when he got the call. Wayne says that he would have simply just pissed himself if it was that urgent and he was Gary. And then Mary Fred deduced that he must have already been in the bathroom before he had gotten the urgent call.
Jesus Christ, the world could use a couple more Garys.
I think we've sleuthed it out, partner.
Bless you for trying on sleuth, but yeah, I think we have sleuthed it out, partner.
How's your French coming?
Well, mon français était très mauvais. Maintenant, mon français est mauvais.
Bonnie returns with Wayne's beer and Mary Fred's Pinot Noir, where she proceeds to mock Mary Fred's accent.
Ugh.
Too French.
Bonnie.
Why don't you go sit down and drink your wine?
What if I don't?
Then I'd have to put my wine down.
Though I'm sad that it's Bonnie's on the receiving end of this, it's nice to see that Wayne and Mary Fred are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I'm gonna go make some Caesars with the girls and get geared up for a gooder.
Ooh, I'd have a Caesar.
But you can't really see a Caesar and not want a Caesar.
That's actually how they market Caesars.
After Katie and Dan leave the produce stand to get some Caesars, Derry takes this opportunity to talk to Wayne about his sex activeness. Interestingly enough, they are both in the same boat of feeling like they've gotten a lot of experience and even better at sex. At the end of the conversation, Derry asks if Stewart is going to be DJing the upcoming party, where Wayne says that he hasn't even seen him in months. And the moment we have all been waiting for. Though admittedly, I didn't expect to ever be thrown into this type of scene in Letterkenny, it did not come unwelcomed. We take a stroll through a packed nightclub as the camera makes its way through the crowd, and we see how different life is from what we've seen so far in Letterkenny. The first familiar face that we see is Gay, who is discreetly selling drugs. Then to her immediate right, we were able to most likely guess that that was Rolled. I know that hairstyle anywhere. But let's talk about Stewart. Everything from Stewart's hair to how he's dressing is different. Overall, he looks more confident, but of course, time will tell if this new Stewart is here to stay.
Snipes! Snipers.
Moving on to episode 2, we see Wayne and Derry dropping their girlfriends off at the gym. Riley and Jonesy approach them to see if they're really about to leave them in there unattended while there is a chest puffer convention going on. Neither of them seem worried, and Wayne tells them,
No reason not to trust her till she gives you one, boy.
after Riley and Josie confirm that they're going to the bush party that the Hicks are hosting, they tell him about the bit that they have with Ron and Dax, the one where they compete to see who can hook up with the most people. As we can see, neither Wayne nor Derry seem impressed. And then the conversation gets interesting. Riley and Josie tell Wayne that there's a guy inside who's returned home for the summer, stating that he's the toughest guy in Letterkenny. This piques Wayne's interest.
Who's the toughest guy in Letterkenny?
Here we go now. Just giving you a heads up.
When's the loneliest number, bud?
Yeah, well, second place, the first loser.
A lot of chin wagging going on in there, eh?
Who's ready?
Tell me I don't look it. Heads on a swivel, boys. Use your peripherals.
Who the fuck are you?
Never me, boys. Only real suckers.
Here we go now.
After a brief interaction with Tyson and Joint Boy, who reaffirms that there's someone inside talking about how they're the strongest guy in Letterkenny, they all take their leave. This then leads to a takedown from Shorzy after Riley and Josie get done chirping at one of the chess plovers who enters the gym.
Fuck, you could cut the sexual tension over there with a knife. Give your balls a tug, tit fucker.
Fuck you, Shorzy. Put a shirt on.
Fuck you, Riley. Go scoop it off your mom's bedroom floor for me. She gives my nipples butterfly kisses.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Fuck you, Jonesy. Your mom shot cum straight across the room and killed my Siamese fighting fish. Threw off the pH levels in my aquarium, you piece of shit.
Fuck you, Shorzy. Do you hear yourself?
We see Gay guiding Rold as he adds little drops of green dye to GHB.
I never thought I'd be able to put a wholesome spin on drug dealing, but here we are.
GHB is the best party drug when used properly.
What's it like?
It's like the chattiness of good blow with a euphoric high of good M.
No way.
And half the come down.
No way.
And you keep your appetite.
Delish.
Kinda just flail.
Holy.
But when used improperly, it's the date rape drug.
Yeah.
That's why we put green dye in it. In case some financial district chotch with contentious intentions tries to slip it in some girl's drink, she'll know.
Genius. Rold then expresses his urge to try it, where Gay states that she likes the sober Rold, where Rold responds back that he likes the sober Gay. Things are really looking up for the Skids. Sure, they're still drug dealing, but how they're handling this new life is definitely impressive. I never thought I'd see the day that Rold is actually responsible. And I've said it multiple times throughout this Revisiting Letterkenny series, and I'll say it again. Gay brings out the absolute best in the Skids, and I love, love, love to see it.
J'ai une question pour toi.
Between us girls?
Une conversation de filles.
I don't really have much to say about this scene. I just love it.
As-tu déjà autant baisé de ta vie?
I'm a little bit concerned about my electrolytes. Feels like they're a little bit depleted. You gotta stay hydrated.
C'est inépuisable. C'est une ressource renouvelable. Non, mais des fois, j'ai même pas nécessairement envie, tu sais. Je fais juste le proposer pour voir c'est quoi y aller encore. Puis, à chaque fois.
Look, if you're peeing clear, you're not hydrated.
Just gotta approach this thing like a marathon runner.
Throwing so much hip in this sort of weather is a great way to get heat stroke. You ever had heat stroke? No. You don't want it.
At the club, we see how effective Gay's plan is when two girls see that their drinks have been tampered with. This leads the girls to tell the drug dealer to stop selling his version of the drugs because they're not safe before they walk off.
Well, of course I'll be there. It's on the property. Okay?
Chest buffer's coming.
The Hicks and friends make their entrance to the bush party, but not without challengers for the title of toughest guy in Letterkenny trying to make their way to Wayne. However, before anyone can make it to him, Tyson and Joint Boy take them out.
Stuart, has our modus operandi escaped you?
Our M.O.
Fuck emo!
Before we resume with the bush party, there's a quick scene with the Skids at the club. We see that the girls actually find out that they've been dealing the green GHB, due to how indiscreetly Rold has been dealing. Lucky for them though, this closes them in on some new clientele. However, not everyone is happy about having a new dealer around. Back at the party, a chest puffer catches Wayne's attention after he yells his name.
Wait!
Who the fuck are you?
I'm the toughest guy in Letterkenny.
After Wayne wins, he helps the guy up where they proceed to shake hands and everyone continues to enjoy the party.
Well,
Oh, yeah, Stuart, he's in trouble.
Who was that?
it's good.
Episode 3 begins with a call from Roald to state that Stuart's in trouble. Katie takes the phone away from Dan, who is the third to receive the distress call, and tells Roald that they all should just come home. Roald says that they can't because Stuart sees his new method of dealing as being a vigilante, but being as such puts a target on Stuart's back, which is the reason why Roald is so worried. Katie proceeds to tell Roald that they're on their way, but all of them seem rather reluctant and requires Katie to do some convincing.
What's the problem, Wayne? You don't want to go to the SPCA and play with the dogs?
Oh.
What's the matter, Derry? You don't want to go to the food court in the mall and get a little bit of everything to create the perfect meal?
Oh.
And Dan, if you get off my dick, we'll play Big Buck Hunter HD 42-inch Wild at one of the Donnelly bars.
Robin Hood, pop culture's most beloved vigilante.
In the next scene, we see Stuart talking to himself in the mirror where he's happily comparing himself to the likes of Robin Hood, before Roald announces,
Katie and the Hicks are coming here and they're gonna take us home.
No.
Yes, sir. No! Yes, sir!
No what?
Gay shows up after hearing their back and forth and is in shock about Roald no longer wanting to be a vigilante. And this is where we find out that they've been receiving death threats riddled with grammar mistakes.
It's atrocious.
Exceptionally odious.
That's what makes it scary. They're too hardcore to proofread.
Hard corny.
You're so fucking funny.
If they don't take the edifice of their letters seriously, why would I take their threat seriously?
Stuart responds back to the letters by simply writing back, "Your threat is meaningless." In the next scene, Riley, Jonesy, Ron, and Dax are all at Modine's talking about their dream hookups. But the conversation is cut short by Shorzy surprisingly accompanied by Marianne and Betty Ann, who also begin to mock their dream hookups.
Daxie, you wouldn't know what to do with the Great One. He fires bigger rockets than Elon Musk.
Oh, fuck you, Marianne.
And fuck you, Ronzi. You're a marathon of dope. Terry Fox ran 3,400 miles in 143 days on one leg. If he were alive, he'd be getting handies from Hilton's and Hadid's.
Fuck you, Betty Ann.
If Terry Fox was alive, Giselle would be sliding into his DMs from Patriots games.
Oh, fuck you, Marianne.
If Terry Fox ran 143 days, he smashed 143 broads, and that's probably fucking light.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
It appears the Hicks have all successfully made it to the big city, as we see that they are at a rescue center that Katie used to encourage Wayne to come help Stuart.
Girls, what's up? All right, let's split.
Well, what? It's always so tough saying bye to the puppies. Like, they're so cute, you almost don't want to.
That may be the softest thing you've ever said, big brother.
No, it isn't.
What is?
How come no one ever compliments me on my eyelashes?
You're paraphrasing, you fucking know it.
Is that what I'm doing?
What I said was, order real long eyelashes. Well, I'm surprised no one's ever noticed that.
Back at the skids.
Gay?
Roldy. Look. Ugh, this is so agitating.
I know. I'm frightened.
I'm referring to the spelling and the grammar, Rolled.
How asinine.
They can kiss my asinine.
Oh, that ass is mine. My slow-learning 7-year-old brother even knows it's if you're Y-O-U''R-E, there, T-H-E-R-E, tonight.
Comma, no period.
It's I-T''S on, period.
I'd have chosen an exclamation point.
I think you're right.
The two city girls that we saw last episode show up at where the skids are staying. Once Road answers the door, he also sees that there's another note taped to it. Road tells them to not worry about the dealer's threats towards them because the Hicks from Letterkenny are here. Then the girls say,
Listen to me. Some Hicks from Letterkenny aren't gonna do it. These dudes roll deep.
Take this shit seriously.
You're keeping us safe.
Even though it's not supposed to be safe, because it's drugs.
And we appreciate it, but you're dealing on their turf. They're not gonna stop till you're off it.
One way or another.
They do not care. Look at their spelling.
Dangerous grammar.
Dangerous.
That's what I said.
Oh my god, it's so big!
we get an update on how the takedown tourney is going, where in the beginning it feels like the guys are all on equal grounds. They all begin to list off all the nationalities and ethnicities that they've been with. However, as time passes, Riley and Jonesy feel more and more behind.
Never smashed a Cuban Uzbek? Come on. Ever smashed a Maltese Congolese?
Boys, I think it's a dog.
You ever smashed a Baltic German Spaniard?
It's for sure a dog, buddy.
Gobble them all up.
We could be in trouble in this takedown tourney, buddy.
Give me a Qatari Montenegrin, Rosie.
Give me a St. Lucian Luxembourger, Daxie. I think we're in trouble, buddy.
I'm gonna fuck a Dutch Afghan.
I'm gonna fuck a Falkland Island Serb.
I'm gonna fuck a Somali Chinese mainlander.
I'm gonna fuck an Islamic Spartan! This is Islamic Sparta!
Over at the club, we see the dealers make their way inside and search for the skids, with the intention of fighting them for their turf. However, before things get bloody, the Hicks make their appearance. Before the Hicks can do anything, we see some of the girls jump the two dealers, and it actually keeps the situation from possibly turning deadly.
That was pretty fucking serious.
Saying this, Katie is referring to the situation that they were almost put in, seeing how the city guys brought weapons rather than the classic no weapon scraps that the Hicks are used to. Katie tells Stuart that it's time to leave, where Stuart once again is wanting to stay. Roll is show growing more worried, while even Gay tells him that they need to lay low for a while.
What about you go your way, I'll go another. It's best if we split up.
What about
just for now?
And it is happening again. Stuart being forced to separate from Gay. Remembering how this made Stuart feel last time when Gay left, it sucks to see that this is happening to him again. But given the circumstances, it's understandable.
Stuart?
Gay?
Why do you rebel?
I hate my parents.
And?
I hate the world.
And?
I hate myself.
We'll rebel again.
Episode 4 begins with two Mennonites pulling into the farm's driveway on a horse-drawn carriage. This is where we are formally introduced to Anita Dyck and Noah Dyck.
Brings you up the laneway.
Wayne, your family's always been very good to our community, and we appreciate it once. You've used us right, and hopefully you feel as though we've used you right, too.
Without question.
We appreciate it once. which is why I know I can count on your discretion, especially in a matter as sensitive as this one.
Can confirm.
Okay. This is not easy to say. Nor is it by any means an accusation.
Where are our daughters?
Anita, Dyck, now. Please. Our daughter, Charity.
Charity Dyck?
And her sister, Chastity.
Chastity Dyck?
Are on their gap year once.
Isn't that called Rumspringa?
Men are talking, Daryl.
Anita, Dyck, and I are concerned that our little Dicks have been bitten by the good time bug. And while Dicks have been known to slip out on occasion, our fear is that our Dicks have been out longer than we're comfortable with once.
Jesus fucking Christ. Wayne does confirm that he did see the two Dicks at the Bush party and that he hasn't seen them since. Maybe Katie can be of more help.
Katie, you seen a Dick or two?
That's a loaded question, big brother.
Katie does end up having more information about what happened to them after the party. She says they were hanging out with a couple of hockey players and that she offered them a ride, where they then declined, so they could walk home instead. Wayne and Katie help them a bit more by telling them high possibilities of where they might be able to find them: the gym and the hockey rink. Before the scene ends, we get a strange show of hostility from Dan when he greets the Dicks, hinting something might have happened between him and them. Noah and Anita make their way to the hockey rink. Conveniently enough, Riley and Jonesy are actually still sitting in their Jeep when the Dicks arrive. They cut to the chase and ask them if they've seen their two daughters, where they say they haven't seen them. They then tell them to try the dollar store, and once the two Dicks leave, we see Chastity and Charity Dyck come from hiding in the back seat of their Jeep.
You know, you guys have been around like a lot.
The Dicks love the English world.
Yeah, but I mean, Midnight World has its perks too, I'm sure.
Just put a little English on a dick, and we'll put a little Mennonite on a penis.
The Hicks asks Dan why he doesn't like the Mennonites. Turns out that Dan's dislike for them stems from his personal experience back when he was 15. He was participating in a sack race and ended up catching feelings for the girl who was holding the lemonade for whoever won first place. This gave 15-year-old Dan the motivation to win the race. However, during the last stretch while he was in first, he was passed up and knocked over by a Mennonite who didn't end up getting disqualified, and therefore lost the race. Near the end of the story, we learn that the girl that he ended up falling for, pun intended, was none other than Lavina Dyck, Noah Dyck's younger sister. It is a major throwback seeing the Skids dancing in the convenience store's parking lot. It feels so weird. The absence of Gay really does make Stuart go back to his old ways. But anyway, Anita Dyck and Noah Dyck show up to ask the Skids where their daughters are. After a little badgering from Stuart, Anita steps in to get the conversation back on track.
Where are my daughters?
Names?
Charity Dyck. Bless you. And Chastity Dyck.
I've not seen a Charity Dyck.
I've no use for a chastity dick.
It's clear that between the two Dicks, Anita is the stern one while Noah tries to take the peaceful approaches. Stuart tells her to speak to Glenn since he supposedly knows everything that goes on in Letterkenny. After Anita's interrogation, they both take their leave, now on their way to Glenn. Riley and Josie show up to the produce stand to seek asylum from Chastity and Charity Dyck.
Why?
Katie, I'll put this gently. All they want to do is bang.
They're Bangalina Jolie.
Feel like characters in a Bang Lee movie.
They need banger management.
And now you want to hit the menopause button?
They need more junk than a heroin addict.
You know, all they want to do is make pound cake.
Katie ends up granting their request and tells them to go hide in her room. But they stupidly leave their Jeep parked out front.
Now, I'm always excited to see a dick, but two dicks at once? My cup runneth over. What do I owe the pleasure of getting double-decked?
The Dicks visit Glenn, and throughout their conversation, the end response he gives them on their never-ending conquest of finding their daughters is to stop by the farm and to ask Wayne. So, we've got a full circle episode on our hands. The Dicks make it back to the produce stand and they park their carriage right next to Riley and Josie's Jeep.
Here I stand. Dickless.
After Wayne tells the Dicks that Riley and Josie are in the house and Katie calls them outside, Anita is the first to charge at them. But before she can make it to them, Dan jumps in to de-escalate the situation. He does so by saying that everyone has regrets that they aren't proud of, like he had with Lavina Dyck, Noah Dyck's younger sister.
But I'm confused once. What does this have to do with our tiny Dicks?
Well, I'm quite sure that your daughters are going to regret exchanging bodily fluids with these young fellas less than I regrets not letting Lavina's Dicks know I was sweets on her. If you lets this go, I'll bring your gals to you. I seen them uptown not too long ago. But, when's I bring them to you, you've got to bring these to Lavina's Dicks so we can have a long overdue conversation. Maybe then all of us can get some closures.
Okay. Is that okay? I'm just asking. Are you okay? Yep. Just checking. Bye.
Don't do that, bud.
To kick off episode 5, the Hicks are hanging out in the kitchen while Derry is on the phone with Anik. Once Derry's on the phone with her, they all express how they feel as if he's being too clingy. We found out the Hicks made plans for the summer solstice, where they're all going to go to Modine's to attempt a drinking challenge. The challenge is to drink 100 shots of beer in only 100 minutes. So, who will be in attendance?
Well, who's in?
The kids are sober, so they're out, and I haven't heard from Riley and Jonesy.
McMurray's?
Yeah, they'll be there.
Wayne and Derry warn Katie and Mary Fred to stay away from McMurray when he's drunk, hinting that he's his worst self when he's shit-faced. After a little bit of beating around the bush and lots of warning, they imitate how McMurray behaves when he's like this.
All right, if we're going in, we're going in. We ain't stopping until the job's done.
God, I should have packed a lunch for this.
And final warning, this one is best left unpacked.
Once we start, you're gonna want us to stop, but we're not gonna stop.
Prove it.
Wayne, how would yous like to talk about cunt?
Hey, Derry, are you an ass man, a tits man, or a cunt man?
Hey, you ever fucked a couple tasties at the same time?
Alright, I'll leave it there because holy shit, it gets grimy. But how do the ladies react?
C'est tout?
Oui.
Parle plus jamais de même si c'est juste fucking dégradant. Tabarnak,
These kinds have had that one coming, good buddies.
That's a keeper if there ever was one, eh, good buddy?
Toi aussi, tu devrais avoir honte. Katie!
Katie asks where Mrs. McMurray is in all of this, and they say that they don't know and they don't ask. Katie then proceeds to say that she must not know how Mrs. McMurray talks when she's not around. Ron, Dax, Riley, and Jonesy are all chatting in the bathroom about how their takedowns are going. They all seem pretty confident in their current progress as the final day of the tournament is closing in. Once they end their conversation and go into their individual stalls to use the bathroom, we hear them groaning in pain.
It was that Haitian Bangladesh. It was that Baja Desert Ukrainian. Had to have been that Northern Irish Maori tribesman. It was that St. Lucian Sikh separatist. Fuck!
They make it to Modine's where Katie is still in a sour mood from earlier. Wayne quickly introduces Mary Fred to Glenn and Gail. Glenn also reminds the Hicks that he'll be taking over for Gail today so she can drink with them rather than have to work all day. Then in comes Bonnie McMurray, who's sporting a referee's uniform with a tray of shots in her hand. She's quickly greeted by Wayne, then begins to tell the rules to everyone.
100 shots of beer in 100 minutes. Rules are no pissing, no passing out, and especially no puking.
Oh, no puking, please. Ewy, ewy, gross, gross. It's a carpet in here.
During this whole thing, we see Derry still on the phone with Anik. We get a better look at the type of boyfriend Derry is, and it does not look good. He's the clingy type and clearly doesn't understand a person's need for space. The McMurrays then show up to the bar already drunk and both are already annoying. Mr. McMurray calls over to Gail, then heads over to the bar top with Katie and Glenn. And as soon as they leave...
Well, now that sit-down pissers are tramping off to the bar, you guys want to talk about cunt?
Ron, Dax, Riley, and Jonesy are all now at the gym where Riley and Jonesy are panicking over their first experience with STDs. Ron and Dax, on the other hand, are unbothered by the fact that they have it too. They even seem to be excited they're able to be there to witness Riley and Jonesy's first time having it.
How the fuck can you be so calm about this? This is the end of days! It's the end of days! Got what was coming to us, bro.
when you compete to take down babes.
I nearly win.
Still could win, but really,
No one wins.
It was that Himalayan Bengali Croat.
That rascal.
Back at the bar, the challenge is underway, and honestly, I don't know what I was expecting from this group. As a group, they seem to be doing fine until they get into the 60s, but of course they end up successfully completing the challenge.
100. Congratulations, everyone.
Huzzah, gang!
Due to none of them breaking any of the rules that Bonnie stated earlier in the episode, Bonnie declares them all the winner. Glenn starts to clean up, and Katie and Mary Fred decide to help him out a little bit. As soon as they leave, Mr. McMurray starts again on his summer escapades, but this time Katie is hearing it in person, and she is completely fed up. As Jerry picks up his phone in the process of reaching out to Anique for the 1000th time, Katie storms over and smashes his phone. She then proceeds to turn to McMurray to chew him out, but before she's able to say anything, Mrs. McMurray calls over to her. Let's see how this goes.
I got a question for you.
Question.
Okay. You need to know that.
What are you doing the last week of the night?
Why?
I'll tell you. Every spring, me and about 17 gal pals head down Cancun for a girls' weekend.
Okay.
Let me tell you something about spring break. The older cunt is there for the young cock, and the young cock is there for the older cunt.
This is where we and also Katie realize that this isn't a one-sided affair. Mrs. McMurray also has her own summer escapades.
Well, what have we learned through all of this, Miss Davis?
Different strokes for different folks, I think.
I think you just nailed it.
Episode 6. Let's do it. Wayne receives a call from Mary Fred while sitting at the produce stand with the other Hicks, where she asks him to do the thing.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, s'il vous plaît. Je parle bien alphabet. Je colore répété avec les yeux fermés. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. OK, c'est complet.
Oh, bravo, merci. Bye, je t'aime.
After the call ends, we get a little more information on Anique. More specifically about her Instagram, which Derry didn't even know she had. Katie describes it as being skanky. She ends up showing him Anique's Instagram and then proceeds to show the others.
Take an eye, big brother.
I'd have an eye. Yeah. Oh, in the words of Scotty Wallace, yeah.
That's what I said. I said, you!
There's no way the photos can be that rigged. You!
Holy fucking yeah!
Well, we are talking Y to the E to the double U!
I'm looking at you!
Come on, give me a big ol' you, boy!
All right, big brother. Let's get out of here.
After the little Instagram showcase, Katie and Wayne take their leave, leaving Derry and Dan at the produce stand. Derry takes this opportunity to ask Dan if he thinks that the other people in Letterkenny also know about Anique's Instagram, where Dan then replies with,
Well, Derry, we have previously established that bad gas does travel fast in a small town, but I do believe racy photos travel faster.
I'm not surprised at the road that this whole relationship is going down, but it is interesting to see how Derry is reacting to all of this. After the two make it to Modine's, they run to Joint Boy, Tyson, Riley, and Jonesy, who were all actually looking at Anique's Instagram. Let's see what they all have to say about it.
Brother Mel with you!
New York, I love you!
Looks like she's just not that into you.
Bad gas travels faster in small towns, buds.
Sexy photos travel faster, boy, you!
Which we have previously established.
Dude, you know how many dudes are jerking off to your girlfriend right now? You!
Yeah, I just jerked off to that.
And I just jerked off to that.
Jerked off what?
Stuart is just saying that he jerked off to Daryl Sweetie's Instagram, and I was just saying that I jerked off to Stuart jerking off to Daryl Sweetie's Instagram.
You're gay?
Super gay.
I think we get the point. I couldn't help but laugh, but I still low-key felt kind of bad for Derry just because I was really hoping this was going to work itself out. But all things are pointing towards a breakup.
Where were you, Gail?
Jerking off to Daryl Sweetie's Instagram.
I'm gonna run to you.
That's what I said. I said, yeah.
Scotty Wallace is saying, woohoo!
Where's Scotty Wallace?
He keeps poor company.
I can't fucking believe your budget for this thing.
Oh, you can't take it with you, can you?
Hey, big spender.
We still don't know exactly what Wayne and Katie are up to. Wayne gives a quick call to Mary Freya where she confirms that she'll be coming to visit. And then they have a short back and forth of her attempting to say English words, like with how she had Wayne say the French alphabet. After the call, Katie compliments how cute their relationship is, and the scene ends with them both entering Letterkenny Central Credit. Anik pulls into the driveway and greets Derry, who's still irritated at her lack of communication. But now that she's here, let's see how this goes.
Look, I won't be coming around anymore. I wanted to tell you face to face.
Well, why? Because you're Instagram famous now?
No.
Because I heard that doesn't have much of a shelf life, according to BuzzFeed.
You're too clingy, Daryl. You need to learn to give a girl space.
Oh, bother.
And I'm working things out with Jean-Claude. I was impulsive in leaving him. Especially how I did. I got cold feet.
We are none of us perfect.
Au revoir.
Given how everything was going, this was bound to happen, but I still feel bad that it did. I wasn't, however, expecting Anik to go back to Jean-Claude, especially with how she ended things. But reasoning aside, if this is something that she believes can be worked out, I guess it's worth a shot at giving him a second chance. Dan pops up from behind the produce stand and tries to cheer Derry up by saying that maybe now he can enjoy Anik's Instagram profile, like the rest of the guys in Letterkenny.
You!
Well, here we go now.
Here we go now.
It looks like the big surprise is about to get revealed as we see Katie wishing Wayne good luck, then entering Modine's. She meets with Derry and Dan at the bar where she says that she heard what happened with Derry's relationship, and says that it was for the best. Bunny asks Derry if he wants to dance since he's single, where he happily accepts. So all in all, things appear to be looking up. And speaking of looking up, someone has also caught Dan's eye. Dan's crush when he was a teenager, Levina Dyck, has made an appearance and they both seem equally interested in one another. Mary Fred has finally arrived and she says that she got a ticket on her way to visit. Luckily, she seems unbothered by it and is still happy to see him nonetheless. Wayne tells her that he has a question to ask her, where she then says to ask her inside as she walks away and enters Modine's. As she leaves, the camera focuses on Wayne and then this happens. For how short this episode was, this was a jam-packed